Manchester United 3, Everton 1. Manchester United advance from the FA Cup third round into the fourth round. The first team to do so. We start this FA Cup third round weekend with a victory at Old Trafford over Everton. And look, not a pretty result, not a pretty performance. I mean, the overall result is good and the overall result is ultimately what truly matters. But I think we need to almost understand that not every game is going to be this pretty free-flowing football. Not every game is going to be smooth sailing. Not every game is going to be, we're winning at half-time, we're dominating the game. No. First half, we started really quick with the Anthony goal. That was good, and it felt like, I said it on the match view, that this was going to be, we were smelling, we were like Jaws. We were smelling blood in the water. It was going to be a collapse. This was going to be 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6-0. Frank Lampard would lose his job by half-time, and it was going to be easy. And that wasn't the case. We got the early goal from Anthony. Good play by Rashford once again. Gets an assist. We'll speak more closely on individuals as we get on here. But after that, it's a horrific mistake from David De Gea. You can't ignore it. They do happen. He has them in his locker. He did one earlier this season against Brentford. And you have to criticise the player when they do that. Although, I think my concern is that mistake will be manipulated and used and formed and sort of weaved into people's agenda against David De Gea or against his style of play or his lack thereof in their minds. And I think we also have to realise with David De Gea that yes, he makes a mistake today. Could it have cost us the game? Sure, it could have. It didn't. Ultimately went on to win. And on top of that, David De Gea more recently has won us games, has won us points. Even as recently as Bournemouth making critical saves, even as recently as Wolves away making critical saves in the last minute. So you do have to take with the rough with the smooth. Again, not every single player is perfect, but I think David De Gea holds his own and has made up for it certainly this season with the amount of points that he's won. Again, I can think of other games like West Ham at home. He wins us that game because of the saves he makes later on. So again, that happens. What's important and what's key is the reaction to that mistake, is the reaction to being pegged back when you thought, I thought this game was going to go completely differently. And to be honest, as the first half then went on, we were sloppy at points as we were going forward, and it looked like we were in good positions to make good attacks. I felt like we were rushing things. I felt like we were taking shots too early, or we weren't playing the simple pass, or we weren't playing the right pass. And again, that comes back down to not having that sort of clinical cutting edge, not having that composure in the right positions. And we needed halftime at that point. But the reaction that we saw, certainly KG and myself, I can't speak for everyone, but on social media and certainly, again, some of the fans that we were interacting with at halftime, you would think Chicken Little sentence, you would think the sky was falling. And I don't think that's necessarily, accurate, because again, you don't win a game in 45 minutes. You win it in 90. And yeah, we were drawing at halftime, but we're still at home. We've still got Erik ten Hag as our manager. We've still got excellent players on the pitch. We need to have more belief, I think. We need to have more belief in our team that our players are going to turn it around. Our players are going to create chances. Our players are going to score. And that's ultimately what we did. And again, results are the key thing. In a couple of weeks' time, people are going to remember, it was a bit difficult that game against Everton. We didn't play particularly well at certain points in the game. No, they're going to remember that you won 3-1. That's ultimately what really matters. If we get to the final, let alone if we win the competition, do you think people are going to remember the third round tie at Old Trafford with Manchester United versus Everton? No, of course they're not. When we've won FA Cups in the past, do people remember who we beat in the third round? No. They remember who we beat in the final and us lifting the trophy, because that's what matters. Results matters. And I understand performances are important too, but I look at our recent vein of form. I look at, is it one defeat in our last, 16, 17 games? I think it's 7 consecutive victories at home, something like that. I mean, if we're going to criticise David De Gea, I would also say at the same time, look, it's the first goal he's conceded at Old Trafford in open play since playing against Arsenal. And that was in September, early September. So we have to realise that football is not perfection. We aim towards it, but we don't always get there. So second half, I thought we came up. I thought we played better. Again, Everton, as you would expect, made it difficult. At times, we kind of rode our luck a bit. But Marcus Rashford, once again, his dynamism, his willingness to run in behind, his willingness to take players on, gets the own goal. And I suppose we got the bit of luck that Everton got in the first half for the mistake from David De Gea. We get a bit of luck from Connor Cody's own goal. And then as time goes on, as we're getting towards the end of the game, and Ten Hag made the substitutions to kind of try and shore things up, try and bring on more defenders, have more fight, have more energy, have more tenacity on the pitch, because that's really where the game was going. Garnacho is one of the substitutes that comes on, and once again, his willingness to run at people, his willingness to run in behind, his willingness to be direct, gets the penalty, and then Marcus Rashford coolly slots it away. We win the game 3-1, and ultimately, again, we're through to the next round. That's what matters. As Erik ten Hag said in his press conference, you can't win the cup now, but it's about putting yourselves in the position that you can win it later on. You can certainly lose the cup right now and get eliminated, and we haven't done that this evening, so I'm happy. Now, as far as individual players, again, Marcus Rashford, he's quickly becoming our most important player. I know obviously there are other players that are really important to the team. Rafael Varane, Lisandro Martinez came on. Casemiro, who again I thought was just fantastic. Casemiro, I think his ability not only to win the ball is so impressive, but also it's his ability when he wins it to get up and find a fantastic pass. We've got no one like him. We really don't have anyone like him, and for a club that for years has been screaming out for a defensive midfielder, a ball-winning midfielder, he's so much more than that. And he offers so much more, to the point that when he did get substituted and Fred came on for him, there was concern. There was a thought of, he's going like for like Ten Hag, but just the quality isn't going to be there at the level of Casemiro, and that's already to show his importance. But Marcus Rashford, again, he is quickly turning into a star this season. His form is a revelation. He's involved in every single goal. This evening, we've scored 3 goals once again, and Rashford's involved in all of them. Assist for the first one, assist for the second one, he scores the third one. And it all steers back, in my opinion, to Erik ten Hag. It steers back to the manager, because what we're seeing is a manager that's put his arm around this player earlier on in the season and said, I really believe in you. And not only is he reaping the rewards because of the performances, we're seeing that the Ten Hag vision is an accurate one. Ten Hag's vision and perception of Marcus Rashford is entirely accurate. When he's saying, Marcus Rashford, you can be one of the best players in the world. Your ability that you have, your pace, your power, your finishing, your goal threat, it can be right up there with anyone in the world. Now, there's still a way to go to that. There's still a way to go in the same vein of what Casemiro is saying, where he can be one of the 5 best players in the world. He's got to be consistent, and he's got to prove it for this season, next season, and the season after. But I think even he would say at the moment, under this manager, he could certainly reach those levels because the manager believes in him. The manager's playing him. And now, like when he didn't play against Wolves for that 45 minutes, we look less of a threat. And that's a credit to Ten Hag. A couple of improvements. Anthony, glad he got the goal today. Still think there needs to be more cohesiveness, particularly between him and Diogo Dalot. That right-hand side just lacked communication, I thought, at times. Anthony Martial, he's looking for a goal. His hold-up play was okay. He's being wrapped up in cotton wool once again because we're so light up front. And again, it was stop-start. There were points where it did feel difficult and we couldn't really get our rhythm going. But ultimately, again, what the important thing is the result. We're through to the next round. We continue the momentum. The big games coming up are City, are Arsenal, and the most important thing is that we go into those games off the back of these multiple victories. We've got Charlton next. The thought process would be that even if we put in a performance like tonight, we would beat them and we continue that momentum. And when the time does come to show up against City at home, against Arsenal away, that's the time to do it. And I hope that we do it. And I believe, and again, that's the key thing. We've got to believe. I know we haven't been given much reason to believe in recent years, and based off last season, there's still a level of trust that needs to be brought in from some of the players, and that's completely fair. But at the same time, I think that, again, not every game can be perfect, and today wasn't perfect. But what is, for me, is the result, because we won and we go through, and that's the important thing. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. On to the next round.